Hey guys, it's David from Juki Junkies, home to Gigi's Fabric Shop, and in today's video we're going to show you how to thread and wind a bobbin on a Juki 8700 industrial sewing machine. So I hope you guys enjoy the whole video and watch it all the way through because you'll be sewing on this machine in no time. Okay, so starting off we're going to use some Glide 40 weight thread. We're going to go ahead and give that a clean cut. So that way it goes through all those thread guides nice and easy. We're going to come up here and go through this first thread guide. And then we're going to come down here and go through this little thread guide. And then we're going to wrap it around that tension disc. Like so. And come back out through that thread guide one more time. Okay, good. And now we can bring it over to the bobbin. Ready to start winding that bobbin. We're going to grab the bobbin, stick that thread through one of those little holes on the side facing the outside of the machine. Pushing it on here nice and snug, and then we can engage our bobbin winder. So we're not actually sewing while we wind this bobbin, so I have my machine unthreaded and the foot up so it's not rubbing against the feed dogs. And now I can just go ahead and hit that gas pedal, start winding my bobbin. So once I get it wound enough, that thread that I was holding on to will just break off, or you can snip it, and now I can just hold down that gas pedal and wind the bobbin all the way. If I need to make any adjustments to making my bobbin more full, I would just tighten down this little flathead here, compressing the spring, allowing it to wind more thread. But in this case, I'm content with my bobbin. I'm gonna go ahead and cut that thread and remove my bobbin. Okay, so inserting the bobbin, we're gonna have that thread coming down on the right side, making a 9. We're gonna just go ahead and drop that into that bobbin case, just like that. We're gonna pull that thread down here on the side, right there, and pull the thread into that little guide right there. And now we can pick up our bobbin and do the bobbin test and test the tension out. So we want to make sure that the bobbin I can lift up, and then if I shake it, it drops a little bit. That's a good tension we want. If we need to tighten or loosen that tension, we're going to use this flat recessed screw right here and turn it clockwise for tighter and counterclockwise for looser, and very small amounts, not too much. Okay, so now that we have that all set, we're going to go ahead and snip our thread so we have 2 to 3 inches of a tail. And we can go ahead and insert that bobbin case. I kind of just can do it by feel. I know that this U has to be facing up, and I don't like using this little door because I like to hear it click into place. So I'm just going to reach down here and hear that click, and then I can close this little door. This is just like a little seeing door while I reach down here and insert that bobbin. And now we just have to thread the top of the machine. So we're going to go ahead and use our Glide 40 for the top thread as well. We're going to put it on that left spool stand, going through that thread guide up here, just like we did when we were winding that bobbin, front to back. And if you want to move this over here, you can. That way you can see a little better. Pulling it through. So now that we have our thread pulled through, I'm going to go ahead and snip it so it's a clean cut again. And we're going to go underneath this little thread guide right here, coming out to the front, and then wrapping around that tension disc just like so. And then we can go ahead and go from there to this thread guide, back to front, come back around, back to front. So it should look like that. Then we're going to pull out that slack. I'm going to go in this little thread guide right there, going around this tension disc, catching that catch spring, going underneath that bar right there. And then we're going to go into that take-up lever. So now that we're in that take-up lever, good to go. We can go through this thread guide, go through that thread guide, and go through this thread guide. And thread that needle from left to right, just like so. Perfect. And now we are all threaded. We can lift up that foot and put that thread underneath the foot and start sewing. So now I'm just gonna lift up my foot and pick up that bobbin thread. And the hand wheel is a lot easier to turn if you just press on the pedal just a slight bit. That releases the brake. And I can just go ahead and pull up that bobbin thread just like so. Now that I have my bobbin thread pulled up and my top thread in the needle, I can go ahead and put my material underneath the foot and begin sewing. And voila! We have successfully done our first little sew out on our new Industrial 8700. If you're curious on how to elongate your stitches, this little dial right here, rotating it to the right, number 5 is the longest stitch and 0 is the shortest stitch. Just rotate it left and right to pick the length of your stitch. And if you want to reverse stitch, You're just going to hold down this lever while you're sewing, and that's how you're going to reverse stitch. Well, just like that, we learned how to thread and wind a bobbin on the 8700 industrial sewing machine. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have questions or comments, leave them in the comment section down below. Make sure you drop a like on the video, subscribe, because we post every Sunday at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we hope to see you on the next video.